Boom. And just like that, he was live. And in fact, I'm told YouTube are telling me I am live, which will come as a great relief to my next of kin. So, a warm welcome to those of you who will be joining. Tommy Freedom, good to see you here. I just need to double check in a second if this is flowing okay over on the Gettrs, but hopefully it is. What a time to be alive, by the way, folks. What a time to be alive. We've got so much good stuff to get through because, as you know, Elon Musk has just gone and bought himself Twitter. We need to talk about that because the salty tears from the left are delicious and I can't resist. So we're going to talk about hi Harry, good to see you on the stream, my friend. We're going to talk about the Elon Musk acquisition of Twitter. Chat about that one. Meanwhile, across the channel, we have the victory alleged of Emmanuel Macron, who, quelle surprise, wins the French presidential election. I told you guys some while ago that this is exactly what was going to happen. Hi, Andrew, over on the YouTubes, and indeed it was. So we're talk about that. And finally, we're going to talk about the British government's lunatic scheme to repatriate illegal migrants. And apparently it turns out it's going to be a very small amount of illegal migrants. Just I need to do the thing below here. If you enjoy what you hear and you want to support the platform, well, you can buy me a coffee and the link's below. I'd like a latte with extra soy in it, please, so that I can thoroughly enjoy the salty tears of lefties. If you want to support your own health, then one way to do that is to visit our sponsor, nothingbut.co.uk, where you can pick up some delicious products, all natural, and they'll do you loads of good. Hello to my friend Donny Girl. Aloha to you as well. So I'm just going to now prove my technical abilities or lack of, just to make sure that I can see what is happening across on the Gettrs. So you'll have to excuse me for a moment as I distract myself by trying able to do that. Hi, Matty. Good to see you on the stream as well. So let's just check to see if this is working okay. Takes a minute for me to do this. So bear with me as I go across. And now I am exiting the YouTubes and I'm now entering the Gettrs. Yeah, I'm going to do that now. Just want to make sure it all works. And the way we make sure we keep it nice and mute so I don't have to double hear myself. Right, that's fine. It seems to be working. So wherever you are, it's good to see you. And thanks for being here with us this evening or this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Because the one thing I've almost abandoned is I never really know anymore what time I'm talking to my followers, because I know you are a diverse group of individuals, and therefore, for some of you, in fact, actually, let's ask our friend Donny Girl over in Hawaii. At what point in the day is this? Because it's early evening with me. The sun is still out, though it's still sunshine. But I'd be just curious to know. Hi, Jan. Good to see you on the Gettr stream. Good to see you there. Good to see you folks wherever you are, whether you're watching this on the YouTubes, on the Rumbles, on the Gettrs, wherever it is, on the Facebooks. Yeah, I forgot we're on Facebooks. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Facebook. This is funny. I've got Facebook and YouTube on, right? Which means I can't say anything. Oh, it's 8:30 a.m. in the morning. Breakfast time in Hawaii. Tea time in the United Kingdom. But so I got to be really careful. Shall I? No, maybe I should just say what I'm going to say, because of course, what I now need to happen is I'm going to contact Elon Musk and tell him he now needs to buy Google, buy Facebook. Job done. Job sorted. That's what I need to. And then we will then be able to have some free speech. But anyway, these are the topics for discussion tonight. So the discussions are basically around Twitter and the acquisition, around France and the so-called win. and around the government's totally farcical plans to deport 2% of those coming from the channel to Rwanda. Yeah, I bet you were impressed with that. So let's start at the top, which I guess is the big breaking news story, which has been developing all afternoon. The Twitter board they met. They didn't have a choice. They had to meet and they had to review the amended offer by Elon. City Troll says no Facebook. It is on Facebook, City Troll. It's on Alt News Media and Facebook, I'm sure. Good to see you, Cyber City, by the way, over on there, the Getterverse. I wonder, am I the person who's coined the term Getterverse for the folks over there? I'm not sure, but I like it. And Big Vern is also on the stream over on the Gettrs, a really good supporter. Great to see you as well. Thanks for being here. So Musk, anyway, his offer's been accepted, which means he owns Twitter. And what he said was that as a consequence of that, there's going to be big changes. So hiya Tarlo, good friend for Britain, good to see you here. What is this going to mean? What do you think is going to happen? Will Elon Musk change things? In what way will he change things? How can it work out? For example, if I was Elon Musk, step one, sack the board. The board goes. The board vanishes. Step two, Facebook has 7,500 employees. I think something like that, right? He needs to sack 7,500 employees. That would be a good first step as well. Given the extreme partisanship, the extreme censorship of particular perspectives on Twitter, we don't need the purple-haired, nose ring wearing androgynous. They're not sure what gender they are. We don't need these people running moderation. These are the people that destroyed Twitter. So I think they need to go. Old Baz makes a point, and it's a fair one, by the way. It means Gettr might disappear. Well, I don't know about that, because I found a lovely community of people on Gettr. I really like the folks that I've got to know over there. They're fine people. There's no lunatic. I've not come across any lunatics at all. So I'm a big fan of Gettr. Twitter is a different thing. Oh, hi, Dave Barker. Good to see you. By the way, good to see you. But sacking the Twitter board, yes. Sacking probably all their employees. I'm not sure. Is anybody still working for Twitter? I'd be surprised. It's possible, but I doubt it. So, okay. So, okay. Reading comments here, discussion on Facebook, which is completely irrelevant. So I don't know. So you've got rid of the board. You've got rid of all the Captain Marvel, purple-haired, nose ring wearing, androgynous. They don't know what gender there is. They're struggling to identify which bathroom to go in, and they're going to moderate me. I don't think so. So they all need to go. That has to go as well. What else has to happen? Well, free speech needs to be restored. People who have been banned, egregiously banned, people like my friend Katie Hopkins, she needs to be allowed to come back. People like friend Stefan Molyneux, these were all banned the same year I was banned. Stefan, if he wants, should be allowed to come back. And dare I say it, people like myself should be allowed to come back as is. I think that would be good. Donald Trump should be allowed to come back on. Now, there's an interesting comment from our friend City Troll. Good to see you here, by the way. Truth Social has just opened up to everyone. Well, it's about time. It's about time. I like the idea of being on Truth Social, but it's been, as you know, those of us outside the US, even though we're big fans of Donald Trump, Truth Social wasn't open to us. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And of course, I have to say this as well, folks. I'm a big fan of Gab. I've got lots of followers over in Gab, lots of good friends over in Gab, lots of good traction over in Gab. It's an interesting platform. It's an edgy platform. And I wish Andrew Torba and all the guys at Gab every success as well, just like I wish Jason Miller and all the brilliant team at Gettr all the best as well. But I've got to be honest with you, I also wish Elon Musk all the best. if Musk can deal with Twitter, and I just don't know how he does, because as some of the guys at both Gettr and Gab have pointed out, you know, ultimately Twitter has to be hosted. So if Apple pull the app from the App Store because it suddenly becomes a free speech platform, that's going to going to be a problem. And I agree with the Templar, by the way, over on Gettr here. He's saying Trump won't go back after spending a fortune on his own social media platform. Perhaps not. But as the Matrix says, maybe he could merge. A merger between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Would that be good business? Think about that one. I think it's possible. And then, oh yeah, the thing about Truth Social, apparently it's only for Apple iPhone users, right? So it's not open to Android users. I think those are technical issues, but Zedalon says that. But regardless, I wish Elon Musk well and is in his mission to make Twitter basically a decent platform. It's not a decent platform. Regulate 8 says, I'm sorry, trying to pick up the comments here. Gregulate 8, my Pauls, says that Gettr and Rumble are the only social media platforms I use. Well, yeah, because of course YouTube's unbearable, Facebook is farcical, and Twitter is a sewer at this point in time, or it's been turned into that. It wasn't always that. But frankly, what happened on Twitter was the left got a grip and a complete control over Twitter. Now, I know people will say that Twitter was basically set up by the intelligence services as well, and it's essentially an arm of the U.S. government. That may be true. Actually, I'm not saying that's true. That's not true, or at least Elon Musk is a super savvy businessman. I don't believe he's just done this just for the lols. So it is. It's going to be interesting to watch it. Dave Barker says it's dangerous when one person owns such a platform. Well, I mean, that's also fair point. A fair point. Hello, Rockalina in Florida. Good to see you. But as to where Twitter goes, I honestly don't know. I'll tell you what I do think, that there's so much needs to be sorted out. It's so much needs to be sorted out in Twitter. But the funny thing is, I mean, let's have a laugh. Have you seen some of the tweets that the lefties have been putting out over on Twitter? It's, oh my God. Well, actually, they're all going to have to walk back because they were all going, oh my God, if Musk buys Twitter, I'm off. Bye-bye. Well, bye-bye. He's bought it. You said you were leaving. So bye-bye, lefties. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. So what do you say? They'll all roll back from that. They're not capable of leaving Twitter. They love Twitter. They're obsessed with bloody Twitter. And so the fact of the matter is that, hello, John Gleason, by the way. Good to see you as well, my friend. And old Baz, you're right. I mean, look, Twitter it's a kind of a lunatic asylum. It's an asylum, isn't it? It's not a place. Oh yeah, I think I think I did put up yeah, this is good fun. This is now here's a guy, Sean King. Oh yeah, Sean King. I'm sure American friends will know who this guy is. And this is what he says. At its root, Elon Musk wanting to purchase Twitter. It's not about left versus right. It's about white power. Oh no, the man was raised in apartheid by a white nationalist. He's upset that Twitter won't allow white nationalists to target, harass people. That's his definition of free speech. So take that, Elon Musk. Sean King's called you out. Oh, what a lunatic. And the problem is that there's legions of them over there, whereas on Gettr, I don't see any. And on Gab, I don't see any. And as I say, I'm not on Truth Social, so I can't comment on that, but I can comment. These people are just so easily programmable. I stuck this one up earlier today. This meme. And as you can see, this is how the lefties have evolved over the past 12 years. I remember, I'm sure those of you folks who were around back then, remember in 2012, and just like that, the meme went. But there was a meme. There we go. In 2012, we're nearly at the top of they were saying no to big pharma. And then 2022, wear your mask, take a jab. And then they were talking about back then, no new wars. 2022, 100% behind World War III. And then 2012, Occupy, you remember Occupy Wall Street, corporate greed? You remember all that stuff then? And now we love Disney, we love CNN. Well, they don't love CNN because nobody's watching it. But there you go. The lefties, like they're a mess. They are a mess. Um, Andrew says, I can't look at Twitter anymore. I recently got banned for sharing a link to the video Watch the Water. Oh, yeah, shh. You mustn't, Andrew, talk about things like that on the Twitters or on the Facebooks or the YouTubes. Hello there, Chris Davies, my friend. Good to see you on us. On the stream here with us. So thanks for being here, Chris. Chris, we're just having a good old chortle at the fact that so many lefties are having an emotional breakdown over the fact that Elon Musk has bought the Hell platform itself. But what happens next is going to be real interesting. So it'll be fascinating to see. Does he stand? I mean, he's Musk, who said he was a free speech absolutionist. Okay, so Twitter is not in favor of free speech. Although, to be fair, it allows terrorism groups to be on it. It allows pornography to be on it. It allows a lot of wicked things to be on it. So, I mean, I don't think those things should be allowed on it. So, I'd like to see them all banned. That's what's nice about Twitter and Gab. They're decent platforms, and I find therefore it's quite nice to spend time with decent people. That's more fun than having, the perennial arguments over on Twitter where you say something and the lefties say, "Oh, you're a homophobe, you're an Islamophobe, you're misgendering people," and they come out with all this crap. And we are going to dox you. But yes, Chris Davies, if I return to Twitter, I'm going to have Marcus Rashford's photo in my Avi as my tribute to my best friend, Marcus Rashford. How dare I have criticized him back in 2020? That was well worth getting banned for, wasn't it? Oh, absolutely. So as I say, we'll see what Elon Musk does. But he needs to completely clean it out, like he really, really does. And I would imagine there'll be so much resistance. Some of it might be upfront. Some of it might be, subversive resistance as well. Yeah, I mean, look, I see a lot of people saying you shouldn't be dancing with joy with this. Well, I'm not dancing with joy, but I'm having a bit of a laugh. It amuses me. And do I think Elon Musk is one of the good guys? I don't know. I don't know Elon Musk. Stu Frost is saying, David, is this on Gettr? Yes, Stu. I is simultaneously broadcasting on the Getterverse. So if you want to watch me over there, as opposed to here, you're welcome to or indeed in Rumble. Pick your hello, Joe Cool, by the way. Good to see you. Yeah, what's his name? Quiba says Rashford, the one who missed the penalty, but still gets praise because his media prestige privilege. Yeah, that Marcus Rashford. You see, you're not allowed to say in the old Twitter, it became intolerable to say hurty things about virtue signalers like that. My idea of being on certainly on Gettr and on Gab is that I'm going to confront, I'm going to speak my mind, and I will not be I won't be told what to do. Templar says he was banned off Twitter for calling Cardi name B names. Donny Girl says anything that makes the lefty screech in horror is good. Well, they see, this is my approach, Donny Girl. It just amuses me. I mean, it's funny watching them cry. I mean, I think I've stuck out some memes on it today. There's other memes. There's going to be endless memes on it because you know that the left aren't going to be able to cope with. Hello, Super J. Good to see you on the old YouTube, sir. I hope you guys, by the way, are enjoying my, albeit a temporary return to the YouTubes. but I am trying to cover bases here, so as to get the message out on different platforms, including to normies as well. And that's the only really reason for returning to Twitter is normies are on Twitter. I think the people who are on Gettr and the people who are on Gab, for example, and indeed in Truth Social, these are sensible, informed people, right? I think they are. And so there's a good comment. Cyber City says Elon is like the real life Tony Stark. Well, we need an Iron Man to get assert control out of the out of control Twitter. So yes, Chris, I know Peter had this is my friend Peter McElvenna over at Hearts of Oak, who I think are going live in shortly over on the Gettrs and elsewhere. He was covering the French. I was going to say the French Revolution, but it wasn't. It was the anti-revolution. So anyway, there we go. Anyway, we've talked plenty about. We've talked plenty about. So I'm reading your comments as I'm talking. We talked enough about Twitter and Musk, and we shall watch with great interest to see what his next moves are. But as I say, my real purpose, if I was to consider going back there, would be to try and influence normies, because most of you guys kind of a bit stop for me on Twitter, David. Anyone else? Don't know. It's got to be down to the Twitter stream, Tarlo. It's not to do with the David Vance stream, but maybe quick shout out. I'm reading old Baz's comment. You see, old Baz, if I read that out loud, I would say that the Facebooks and the YouTubes would have an absolutely coronary, the sort of thing that the jobs definitely don't give you, by the way. So there we go anyway. We'll watch this space with Elon Musk, shall we? And I want to wish him all the best. And I hope things work out for Twitter. And it would be nice, as I say, to have another platform that gives us free speech, like Gettr does, and like Gab does. Phil says, reinstate the old accounts that got banned. Well, yeah, start with me if you want. I mean, there was 172,000 people following me over there. Remember that? But half of them are lunatics, to be fair. And all the best people follow me on the follow me on the I think we have a technical hitch here insofar as our producer seems to have gone, which is interesting. You can't take it, I tell you. Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back. He's back. That's one of those moments when you think, oh my God, the producer's gone. He's left. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Talk. That's the answer. So somebody says, I would go back if they let me. Well, as I say, on my terms, and we'll see. We'll see. But I'm very happy where I am. I'm happy with all you guys. Simple as that. So let's move on, shall we, from Musk to Macron. Monsieur Macron, the glorious leader of the French Republic, elected as president for his second term yesterday, as I forecast 3 weeks ago, because it was so obvious to me, there was no way that they were going to let Marine Le Pen win. Now, of course, I supported Marine Le Pen. It would have been fantastic for patriots in France and indeed elsewhere. But here he is with a touching photograph of Macron with his mum. Look at that. I mean, that shows you what a kind man he is, that even at a moment of victory, he's prepared to give his mum top billing. And here we go. Victorious Macron vows to unite France. These globalists, they're such after fending off Le Pen threat. Yeah, so he got 18 million votes, by the way, and Marine Le Pen got 13 million votes. There was 3 million people who spoiled their votes. So the sort of the winning margin was less than it was back in 2017. But the fact is that I personally would have a lot of questions. And one of those questions is, can we actually have confidence in the French electoral system? I think probably not. I'm just trying to see. Oh, yeah, okay, we're still talking about the Twitters, but yeah, I mean, I never thought at any point Le Pen was going to win. There's just no way they would allow it. Was she the better candidate? Yes. Would she do more for France? Yes. But that's the problem. That is the problem. The problem. Just reading, Donny Girl says on Twitter right now, Twitter's been sold to Elon Musk and will go private after agreeing to a deal worth 44 billion. Okay, Elon Musk, here, I'll do you a favor. I'll take up a role as one of the new controllers of Twitter, and we're going to make sure then it really does have free speech. Shall we do that, Elon? Have a chat. Give me a call. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The Templar says this is the French demographics. All the pensioners voted for Macron. Wow, that's a really fascinating statistic there, which I'd not seen before. So pensioners voted for him, 72%, as opposed to 28% who voted for Marine Le Pen. What a pathetic bunch. Maybe Templar, maybe they felt empathy for Macron's wife, and on the basis of that, decided we're going to vote for one of our own. I'm not sure. I don't know. I actually saw a really, really interesting. Oh, yes, we have. I wonder, can we bring up the next headline? I see a headline down below. Just bring it up. Yeah. Yeah. Again, the French media, actually, they're not dancing with joy. Marine Le Pen celebrates her best ever defeat. Look, one of the things people need to get on here, she lost. Like, honestly, don't delude yourself into thinking, yeah, she won, but she didn't really, because obviously of the way no, technically, this morning, Emmanuel Macron is French president, not Marine Le Pen. But I think the interesting bit here is the second part of the sentence, which says that the polls show a majority do not want Macron to win the parliamentary vote, which happens in June. So that's interesting, I think. And in fact, I think we may be able to share. We've got a little map which I saw, and I posted it. I will put the map up, and then we're going to meme. We'll finish with the meme, Jed. We'll finish with the meme. But I don't know if you guys seen this map here, but you should have a quick look at it. And the thing is that it shows basically by France, which were the areas that voted for Macron, which were the areas that voted for Le Pen. And you can see in the northeast, basically, you can see, there you can see strong pro-Le Pen vote, which is really interesting. And therefore, and if you go all the way down France again, it kind of fizzles out a wee bit in the middle, but and then down to the southern Riviera along Montpellier and all along Marseille, Nice, and all there. Again, significant presence for Le Pen, which is interesting. And in actual fact, and isn't this so typical of everything, that it's the big cities, it's Paris, it's Lyon, it's Marseille, it's these places that fundamentally vote left. And a couple of things. Can I just say, I wish if I'd have been paid £1 for every time. Dave Barker suggests Macron and Trudeau should marry. Dave, they may well already have done that, for all we know, such as their brotherly love for each other, which is so touching. And Chris Davies is telling me Piers Morgan's on. This is his interview with President Trump. Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, I think the only thing is I really can't stand Piers Morgan, so I can't watching him. But the areas where there's been sort of the most support for Macron are the urban areas, and it's in the French rural areas, in the French countryside, that Le Pen has her support. And here's the awful reality: most people live in the urban areas. And Chris Davies also makes a fundamental point, which we should say. The French constantly calling her far right didn't help. That was deliberate, Chris. If I'd have got £1 for every time Marine Le Pen was called far right, I'd have been able to buy Twitter today, right? Because British media, even today, Chris Davies, hang on to this one, Chris, don't go just yet. on talk radio, or is it going to be talk TV, whatever it's called? I'm not sure. I've lost the will to listen to it. But Sergeant Major Julia Hartley Brewer of the 1st Ukrainian Volunteers (brackets talk radio) was droning on about Macron and the far right Marine Le Pen. Marine Le Pen is in my view is not far right. Far from it. Far from it. But they wanted to demonize her, and they actually wanted to present the extremist Emmanuel Macron as the center candidate, the reasonable man, sensible man. He dresses so well, and look at his lovely wife, and look at some of his strange interests as well, by the way. But you've got a situation with Macron where, hang on a second, where he's the extremist. He locked his people down. Look at what he did to the people of France. He forced the vaccine passports. He's the guy. I cannot visit France at this point in time. Why is that? Well, because I'm unjabbed, because I'm a pureblood. Well, France says no to purebloods. That's Macron, the moderate guy, Mr. Center, Mr. Middle of the Road. Do you think that's moderate? Do you think that's reasonable? The people who, Donny girl, the people that they call centrist are always extreme. But in this case, we have an extremist loving media. Reading your comments, Cyber City says the French media is like 100% leftist propaganda these days. To be fair, it probably always has been. Or as Donny Girl says, they actually label anyone who's a patriot as far right. Donald Trump was labeled as far right. Yes. Dr. Brigadier, yes, we should promote her. Dr. Brigadier Hartley Brewer of Zelensky Vaccine Radio. Good one, Chris. She's unbearable. Absolutely cannot listen to that crap at all. It's out the door. I'm sorry. I'm way too far down rabbit holes to be listening to the blather of the Brigadier on talk vaccine. So back to France. So the globalists have obviously, I consider France to be a captured land. It's a colony of the globalists for me. So it's clear that the globalists own the French establishment. The French establishment own the media, and therefore the propaganda that's been spewed out is very, very hard for Marine Le Pen to overcome. And actually, the same will apply in the UK if ever we had a serious threat to the duopoly between the Conservatives and Labour. It's fundamentally the same. Robbie Pilgrim points out that Macron is a joke. But not a very good joke. A very, very sad joke, really. And, the French are the people who go on about liberté, equalité, fraternité. Where's your liberty, France? If you believed in liberty, you couldn't have voted for Macron. So I can only assume millions of these urban living French people are just creatures who have been captured by the globalist narrative. I think that's essentially, there's a even Real America Voice calling her far right. That's interesting. 'Tis but a scratch. First name D says, anyone not WEF equals far right equals white supremacist. Yeah, that's exactly right. First name D. This is how they operate it, and this is how they crush dissent. They do not want the French dissenting. But here's a question I asked earlier. Tell me what you think. Like, we can see in France, like, voting, you needn't have bothered voting. It made no difference whatsoever. If you look at what happened in Canada with Trudeau, didn't make any difference. Trudeau, or should I call him Castro? Castro got in. And we're going to come on to that topic in a moment, illegals, by the way. And they're trying to get that situation in the United States as well. Now, people said to me, "Oh, you're being very dark in this one, David. You're not being optimistic and your usual bushy-tailed self over the elections." But I do think that globalism is destroying the democratic process and has destroyed it at this point. but maybe not in America. And that's why I'm going to watch with such interest and cover the American midterms, because if the United States people can rise up and if their votes can be counted legitimately, if that's possible, then the Democrats could lose both houses. And that would be, to my mind, a terrific result. And that would be a huge blow to globalism. Simon Knight says France was a big fix and we know it. Absolutely, Simon. That's what I've been saying. But it doesn't surprise me. And, there's no way that that they were going to let Le Pen win. John Gleason shares my view that just don't trust the voting system anymore. Yep. Nor me, John, unfortunately. But we've got to give confidence in our friends in the States and hope that they can actually strike back against the globalists and do that in November. And we're going to be, as I say, really, really, really want to watch that, because I think I think that I'm reading a comment here. I think that's going to be critical. Chris Davey says a man at work triple jabbed for 4 weeks. Today claimed the vaccine saved his life. Unbelievable. That sounds like a title for a song, doesn't it? Last night, the vaccine saved my life. And because we're on YouTube, don't forget, we're on the Facebooks, we're not in any way, we're not mocking the jabs. No, because we know how fantastic they are. That is the reason why you have to have so many of them, you see. It's because they're so effective, but stunningly effective. 100% safe, 100% effective. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to watch anyway what happens over in the States in November. But Macron's back in. Look at what France has gone through for 5 years. With the Gilets jaunes rising up against all the austerity that the former banker, and by the way, that's not Cockney rhyming slang, the former banker Macron introduced. Hello to my friend Gettr. He calls me a young man. It's been a long time since anyone's called me a young man, Gettr. But listen, I'm always one to accept a compliment. So thank you for being here, by the way. Lots of comments about. We're not going to talk about the jobs tonight because it's just too dangerous. But we will another night. Don't worry about it. But we'll not be on the YouTubes that night, and we'll not be on the Facebooks that night. We'll be just rocking and rolling on the Gettrs and rocking and rolling on the Rumbles, and we'll not be worrying about the anti-free speech platforms. So France has gone through all that, and business has been crushed. People have been horribly treated by Macron, and he's back in, just like Justin Castro in Canada. He got back in again. The World Economic globalist but the entire situation is very, very, very disturbing and worrying. It's almost like, they still allow us to vote, but they take away the purpose of voting, because the purpose of voting is ultimately to change something if you don't like it. But if they're in control, you don't like it. Tough. You're just going to have to suck it up. And no, First Name D says, I've always called him a banker. You are absolutely right. Our friend City Troll says, we will know in November if we still have a country or not. If the Dems win, the vote will no longer be trusted. Yes, I agree. And the world should start to pray against the chaos that will follow. Well, excellent comment. And, and that's why my hopes are with my American friends who watch this and who follow me on the different platforms. And Ibersteller is right. He's calling Macron out for what he is. He is a puppet, indeed. And he's not the only one. Trudeau's a puppet. Ardern's a puppet. The turnout. Chris Davies says his sister lives in France. Everyone believed the far right nonsense. Well, I mean, then there's a real problem with the French, and the turnout was very low. It was the lowest turnout of a presidential election since 1969. So that's the lowest turnout in whatever that is, 50 years. 50 years. Oh yeah, but Macron, he's so popular. He's like Joe Biden. He's the most popular guy ever. Yeah, he got all those 81 million votes. Totally legitimate, absolutely legitimate votes he got. And guess what? He couldn't fill. I was going to say like a small theater with the crowds people coming to see him. It's weird that 81 million votes, massively popular. Nobody turns out to see him. But maybe that's because, but there's one person who always turns out to see Joe Biden. And you know who that is? Yeah, his invisible friend. Have you seen the videos? You're bound to have seen the videos. So many of them where Biden makes a speech, mumbles a speech, and then he turns around and he's shaking hands, but there's nobody there. Have you seen that? Yeah. I mean, the expression is, folks, the lights are on, but there's nobody home. There's nobody home in that situation. And yet he's so massively popular. He's like Kamala Harris. She's so loved that when you do an opinion poll, she's detested. I don't understand that. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, the media wouldn't lie to us. Come on, man, says Chris Davis. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Yeah, the new vice president. Well, actually, Brummy Pilgrim, if the new vice president in the US was the Easter Bunny, the Easter Bunny would do a better job than the presidential incumbent or his existing vice president. So I say, come on, the Easter Bunny. But it's this dichotomy, isn't it? Between, on the one hand, they're super duper popular because they win all the elections, and then nobody seems to like them. And in fact, as I put out on, we've got a meme alert. Oh yes, meme alert. We've got this is the meme alert. Actually, back to Twitter. Let's swag it up anyway. There we have it. Doesn't that sum it all up? Meme alert. We have the Lion King himself holding aloft his prize, the Twitters or the Twatters. And look, oh no, all the lefties, and they're sad, and they're probably not sure which bathroom to go to, but they're not happy. Hi, Billy Piper's teeth. Good to see you, my friend. But maybe I came on a bit early for you tonight, Billy Piper. We started the gig at 7:30 tonight. Yeah, so I mean, great meme that one by this. So there's going to be so many good memes. But when it comes to Macron, France celebrated his election by riots. I put this tweet out on the Gab earlier today, and it kind of went a bit mental. I think it's the third biggest tweet or post on Gab today. So that's weird. So there wasn't mass celebrating in the streets. No, there was mass rioting. Now, what does that tell you, folks? What does that tell you about Monsieur Macron and his potato regime in Paris? That's what you need to ask yourself. You know the answer. You know the answer. It is it's just a repeat of Canada again. You know. Now, and the other thing, by the way, bad news for Brits. Yeah, well, Macron has proven to be consistently hostile to the United Kingdom. There we go. Yeah, there we go. It's the second one down. This is a tweet. Manuel is so popular that mass riots across France accompany his win, and you can see thousands of people seem to enjoy that. Statement of the bleeding obvious, actually. Statement of the bleeding obvious. Billy Piper says, Macron, it tells me he likes grannies. Well, we have to, Billy Piper, respect his love of the elderly. It's touching, if slightly creepy, but hey, who am I to judge? So yeah, yes, Brummy Pilgrim, thoughts and prayers with the woke lefties at this time. If you like this, by the way, when you're watching this in the Gettrs, hit the heart stream. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, then hit the likes, whatever it is. Make sure we get some interaction going here. Status Pilgrim says, Status 77 says, let's call him by his proper title, Emperor Macron. Yeah. I can think of other names to call him as well, by the way. But anyway, that's where we are. Verbally challenged Frenchmen have never been a challenge. And of course, the French have a history of surrender. There is that as well. Did I just say that? Yeah. So anyway, let's move on in the last 15 minutes, because we all know that the British government came to power in 2019, December 2019, promising vote for Boris, and he's going to get tough on the illegal migration. He's going to get tough. Okay, you're going to get tough, Boris. Yep. So what happened in 2020 and 2021? Well, the numbers of illegal migrants crossing the English Channel from France, from Macron land, to the UK, it rocketed up. It doubled, tripled. Last year, 2021, was the worst year ever. But hey, don't worry about it, because Priti Patel and Boris Johnson had a cunning plan. You remember the cunning plan? The cunning plan was that they were going to send legal migrants coming to the UK to Rwanda. Rwanda, David? Yeah, Rwanda. Priti Patel had done a deal. She's going to pay the Rwandans God knows how many millions if they will accept these illegal migrants landing on British shores. And some people said, well, it's a plan. And if you check the British media at the moment, particularly the awful Daily Mail, they are running stories saying, well, it's making some of them think twice. Billy Piper, there is no difference fundamentally between Wakanda and Rwanda. And not just because they sound alike, but, in other ways. I'm sure Rwanda is the height of civilization, as indeed is the fictional Wakanda. But then came this story today, which made me laugh. If we can bring this one up on the stream here. Yeah. Did you see this? Just 2% of Channel migrants are sent to be sent to Rwanda. That's fewer than 200 a year. So that's one EasyJet, and that's it. Meanwhile, the other 20, 30,000 who stream in here, I think it's, as Jed's pointing out here, in the last 2 days, not a single migrant have crossed the channel. Yeah, in the last 2 days they haven't. Yeah, but, I believe that, why would they not? Here's the question. If the government's going to, just 2% of the people who arrive in the UK are deemed inadmissible to the asylum system, which is a criteria. Honestly, folks, what do you say about this? The criteria that would be used to determine who can be sent to East Africa. So yeah, Priti Patel has given 120 million over 5 years. But it turns out over 5 years, she's looking to deport on the basis of the criteria, 1,000 people. Well, that means if we have about 30,000 illegals come a year, we're going to have 150,000 come, and we're going to deport then on the basis of that. Excuse me, we're going to deport 1,000. 150,000 come in, we deport 1,000. Net gain, 150,000. Excuse me. Oh gosh, have I lost my sense of smell and taste? Do I feel a fever coming on? No. Pardon me. Just a cough. So anyway, yeah. So what do you think about this? Oh, hi, Peter, from my friend from Holland. It's always good to see you whenever you come along. I hope you'll enjoy this final section, which we're doing on the Refugee Council using Home Office and Crown Prosecution, CPS, also found that the new laws criminalizing those who cross the busy waterway could see 19,000 people jailed in the UK in 4 years at a cost of 835 million a year. Well, you see, look, hi, Albert Clutterbuck, my friend. Good to see you on the stream as well. Of course, so Justin Welby will be very upset about this. Justin Welby, subcontracting or responsible even to a country that seeks to do well like Rwanda. Justin Welby, tell me, Justin Welby, what were the Rwandans doing to each other in the 1990s, Justin Welby? Oh yeah, genocide. Remember that one? It's easy. Look, anyone can forget about genocide. You can overlook these things. State of 77 says only doctors, rocket engineers, and nuclear physicists need apply. Also, State of 77, poets and philosophers, and obviously NHS nurses. All of those who will be crossing in the on the dinghies. I don't get this. I don't believe that they're going to be put off by the stupid deal. Especially if, when it comes to the legalities of it, for every 1,000 of them that come here, 20 would be deported. I know what Ibersteller. I know exactly what Justin Welby is. We could talk. Yeah, Albert, I agree. He's many things. One of them isn't a Christian, which is a bit of an issue because he's the Archbishop of Canterbury. Hello to my friend James Jameson, by the way. Good to see you also on the stream. We are getting people from all around the world here. So many different places that you all hail from. But yeah, so I don't think. Look. Here's the deal. The British government is not serious about dealing with migration, actually, illegal migration or legal migration, but in particular regard illegal migration from the continent. They're happy with it. They don't have a problem with it. Anyone who thinks that Priti Patel, oh, she's a bit like Mrs. Thatcher, no, she's not. No, she's not like Mrs. Thatcher, not remotely. In her imagination, she might be. So when I saw this 2% figure, I just laughed because that means it's totally Archbishop of Satanists says D. Oh my goodness, you've probably hurt his feelings. I mean, as he goes about his Lucifer worship. Did I say Lucifer worship? Yeah, I did. Oh, are you saying the Archbishop of Canterbury, David Vance? Let's just be clear in this. Are you accusing him of being a Satanist? Yeah. Anyway, going back on topic. So I have to say, you got to say these things. You got to be able to speak your mind, haven't you? And okay, we can have a laugh about it and stuff. But, when we see these things in plain sight, we have to say that the British government is not doing anything to tackle the illegal migration crossing the English Channel. And now we're in the more tranquil months of, coming into May and June, July, August. Basically, there will be an armada of illegals crossing the Channel, and none of them. I don't think anyone will be deported to Rwanda because it's quite a legal thing you have to go through. So yeah, well, Billy Piper makes a few suggestions. He says the solution is simple: treat the boat people no better than France do. Well, yes, there is that as well. That is true. My solution, and I know some people have criticized me for this, but it's what hi Darren Stimson, my friend, good to see you all the way over on the Facebooks. Share it over on Facebook there, Darren. Let's get ourselves some Facebook traction. I've lost track of what I was saying now. So the government's not serious about this here. They don't intention of stopping the people coming here. They like it. British government, they love the mass illegal migration. Think Kalergi plan. Think, we know what they're doing. We know exactly what they're doing. And James Jameson says, Theresa May signed us to the UN Migration Pact. Yep, exactly, James. That's why this is it's all such a farce. Peter from Holland says, when Elon Musk buys Twitter, I'm deleting the app as the new, if Trump wins, I'm moving to Canada. Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, what you need to do if you're on Twitter, make sure you screenshot all these great leftists said, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to stay on a far-right fascist platform, because my response to them would be, well, go and build your own. And actually, funnily enough, that's what Andrew Torba on Gab was saying in a very interesting comment. Andrew made the point that he thinks that what's just happened with Elon Musk and on the Twitter could mean that there could become left-wing versions of Gab and Gettr and Parler created, so that the lefties can all run there and cry in their closets about this is so unfair. Theresa May thing, yes, James Jameson, that's a key point, and that's why you see these monsters all work together. Boris Johnson is no different to Theresa May, who is no different to David Cameron. They're all the same. Every now and again, someone who comes along who is different. Donald Trump came along. Nigel Farage came along. There are some exceptions. James Jameson says, Whoopi Goldberg never left for Canada. Colour me shocked. James Jameson, did you say the word colour in the same sentence as Whoopi Goldberg? I prefer gold person, by the way, less judgmental. Yeah, exactly. We have to go to our own channels. We can't stand up. We can't stay on Twitter if they're going to allow the right to actually speak back. we can't stay. And I think some of them will probably leave. Which yeah, it'd be fine. It'd be fine. And thanks for the hearts, by the way, and Gettr. Just all some hearts. I like to use the line. If you're watching this in Gettr, hit that heart button like you're a cardiac surgeon on acid, right? Hit it as hard as you can, so I can see that the screen light up red. Whoopi Goldberg was indeed great in Predator, one of her finest performances. Fine actress, fine all-round human being. James Jameson, Salty Army, yeah. So as I say, I'll be really fascinating to watch how this all works out on the Twitter stuff, and the situation in France. It's just going to be more of the same. I'm afraid it's just going to be more of the same. And as for Britain, I'm afraid Boris Johnson is doing to us what he did to his previous wives. He's kind of, you know what I'm saying. That's what he did to his previous wives is what he's doing to us, and we'll need to do a separate stream on what could be his demise. Could be his demise because, as I put out today somewhere, if on one of the podcasts, I hope you're all on the podcast channel, by the way. Are you all subscribed to my podcast channel? Down below, hit the click. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Hit that podcast. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get the daily information as we put it out there. Whippy Cushion Talks. Oh, I know it, Whippy. Yeah, there we go. A good reminder from our producer, Jed. This is, if you're not signed up to this, then what have you been doing? What have you been doing? Sign up to that now. I'll be checking the numbers. If I haven't seen an increase in people, because you get half a dozen podcasts a day on all kinds of stuff. But I did point out the fact that, Boris Johnson could yet lose his position because of the election results in May, the local council election results, and of course the what you call it in June, the June Gray report. This report that's taken 100 years to apparently put in place. That's going to come out as well, and apparently it's not going to be good for him. Now, I'm not sure if they're saying that to make us think it's going to be really bad or not, but we'll have to wait to see. And of course, and another moment of the substance that distinguishes British politics. I see that today people are talking about, is Angela Rayner using her feminine charms to distract Boris Johnson at the dispatch box? Did you see that story as well? Did you see that? Apparently, Angela's been flashing some leg and thigh, and that is, of course, but she has been like the photographs are there. I didn't make the photographs up. Hi there, We the Man. Good to see you on the stream as well. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't made up. But, of course, the despicable Daily Mail, the Mail on Sunday, came up with this anonymous source saying she was doing this deliberately to provoke Boris Johnson. What the absolute state of British politics. James Jameson says, nobody represents me. Hey, James, don't worry about it. You're not alone. Nobody represents me but me, and I don't want anyone. Okay, Billy Piper asked the crunch question of the evening. Okay, lads, here's where I'm confused. Is Angela Rayner hot or not? Yeah, this podcast is massively this stream is massively deteriorating. I'm not sure. I mean, like the thing about it is, if you look along the Labour benches, let me see how I can put this without getting banned somewhere. If you look along the Labour front benches at the absolute state of well, I call them female. Who are we? We can't be sure, can we? And we mustn't be. We mustn't judge people. Compared to them, I mean, she's recognizably female. So there's that. But beyond that, really, I don't know. Yes, D, it's the anonymous source play. I mean, this is how bad British journalism is, by the way. On a serious note, British journalism is just the worst. At the moment, the PSYOPs are running over Ukraine, the worst, the absolute worst. So, so nothing would surprise me that they do make up. I'm reading the comments. John Gleason says Angela is a fright. Some of these comments I can't read out. But anyway, yeah. So that's the state we are in British. So British politics is reduced to the point where the big debate is, yes, is Angela Rayner doing essentially a Sharon Stone to distract Boris Johnson? Oh God. Sometimes I think we just need to turn off. We need to turn off all mainstream media. Actually, we seriously need to turn off. To be fair, James Jameson suggests Angela is very popular around Westminster. Yeah, yeah. I actually heard a story about her, but I'm not going to repeat it in a public platform. But but yeah, from somewhere. I'm not even saying, but regardless. And actually, look, to be fair, I mean, I consider the Tories to be just as bad as Labour. So in a sense, I don't distinguish between the two of them, actually. Andrew Oldsworth makes a key point. Imagine if that was Diane Abbott. That's a frightening image, Andrew. On the notion that that be the case, then time to watch, do not watch politics. Turn it off. Thanks, Steve, for your comment. I'm your news source. I mean, what I kind of do. Oh, hi, Carol Weston. Good to see you in the stream, my friend. You know, oh, Penny Mordaunt. Do you realize Penny Mordaunt, who was she the arms forces minister at one point? She followed me back at my Twitter peak. She followed me. I'm not sure what she was trying to say. Well, so many of them followed me back in the day. But yes, Carol Weston, Rayner, vomit. So there we have it, folks. Anyway, listen, we've come to the end of our allocated time. And as always, the best thing about my streams are you folks on the YouTubes, on the Gettrs, on the Rumble, wherever you are. I do seriously enjoy your comments, and it's actually nice to, in a world that's sometimes so troubled. Don't know if you agree with me. Sometimes the issues are very, serious that we have to tackle, and recurrently serious. So, there is a situation in Ukraine, there is the issue regarding COVID-19, all that stuff. But I think we've managed to get through these three topics, and we have managed to have a bit of a laugh and a giggle and a smile, and that's healthy. That's healthy. One of the best things you can do at politicians is laugh at them, as well as all their policies and all their big plans and all their big promises, by the way. It's funny, just on a finishing note, I can see there's people on the streams here from different places, Facebook, YouTube, and on the Gettrs from Northern Ireland, where I am. And Donegal says, "Aloha, y'all. Stay frosty and keep your powder dry. My powder is dry if explosive." Donegal. But in Northern Ireland, I actually looked through the manifesto. We've got elections coming up here on the 5th of May as well for the local assembly, which in my view should be demolished. And I was looking through the manifesto to see, well, what do all the local politicians have to say about, forced vaccines, about vaccine passports, what about removal of liberty, about lockdowns? What have they got to say about those things? You know what the answer is? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the biggest issue of these times, and they've got nothing to talk about. Instead, they want to distract on other things. It's all distraction politics. Well, I try to keep on the topic as best I'm able to. And, hopefully you enjoy that wherever you find me. So, look, I will leave you like that, folks. Thank you very much. No, we don't need some of those comments coming up from Billy Piper. No, don't want those on the stream. No. If we could just remove that, please. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could have also talked about Disney, by the way. Disney's in huge financial trouble. So along with Netflix, lots of big positive things happening there as well. So Dee finishes off with maybe the best comment. Politics is only to give the illusion of choice. You still get the WEF. Well, you're absolutely right, Dee, but we have to be aware, and that's, I guess, what we're trying to do here. So look, I will leave you now. I know there've been lots of other streams going on in different places, so Hopefully you'll enjoy them if you're not already. And but thanks for spending this little time with me. We will return on Wednesday night, John Gleeson, at 8 p.m. on Wednesday night. We'll make sure we get that one sorted out between now and then. And thanks to all the you salty army people who tune into me as well. It's good to see you, and catch up with you then Wednesday night. Let's make it a date for then. And until then, as they say across the channel in Macron land, in the globalist colony of France, au revoir.